How's it going, folks? My name's Andy, and today let's talk about NBA sophomore players. These guys in their second year of their young NBA careers have been playing incredibly well. Some were already very good in their rookie seasons and have improved even further. Others were not very noticeable in their rookie seasons, but now they've made a significant jump and are most likely going to have a permanent spot in the rotations of their respective teams. Anyway, without further ado, here are 8 NBA sophomores of the 2019-20 season who are absolutely killing it. Number 8, Hamidou Diallo. The Oklahoma City Thunder are in the early stages of a brand new rebuild, and they've got a bunch of good young players, along with some picks that'll hopefully turn into future assets. One of these young players happened to be Hamidou Diallo, a hyper-athletic shooting guard who's shown a massive improvement since his rookie season. With no more Westbrook and no more Paul George, Diallo has now taken on a much bigger role. His usage rate jumped drastically along with his field goal attempts, and, well, all of his stats across the board. While he is young and a rather raw prospect, it's pretty promising to see him take on the responsibility while still maintaining his efficiency. Do I think he's gonna be a core piece of the Thunder's rebuild? Maybe, but it'll depend on if he can fix the holes in his game, namely his lack of a three-point shot, or, lack of shooting in general. Everyone knows he plays with a lot of energy and he's super athletic, but in this day and age, a shooting guard needs to be able to shoot. Number 7, Wendell Carter Jr. Unfortunately, Wendell's rookie season was cut short due to a season-ending thumb injury. So despite being the 7th overall pick of the 2018 draft, he's gotten quite overshadowed. However, he started off his sophomore season very strong. Even though he hasn't gotten the same attention as Zach LaVine or Kobe White, he's still sticking in there, a guy who isn't too flashy but provides all of the little things the Bulls need. Numbers-wise, his points and rebounds have taken a decent jump, despite Wendell's usage rate being lower than last year's. However, his thumb has still been bothering him as he sat out a few games because of it. If he finally gets healthy and continues the same trajectory, the Bulls will be back in the playoffs sooner than people realize. Number 6, Duncan Robinson. Besides having a fantastic name, Duncan Robinson went from being a G-leaguer, barely even a bench warmer at the NBA level, to a legitimate rotation player. In his rookie season, he played just 15 games in very limited minutes, mainly in garbage time. Now, he's playing nearly double his usual minutes and hitting over 40% of his threes. He's also had multiple 20-point games, including one where he hit 7 three-pointers. It's even more impressive that this guy went undrafted, and before transferring to Michigan, he even played Division III college basketball. He wasn't on anybody's radar, but now he's getting crucial minutes on the Miami Heat, a team that's looking to make a playoff push this season. Number 5, Devonte Graham. Another guy who seemingly came out of nowhere. As the 34th pick of the 2018 draft, Devonte Graham was a 4-year college player at Kansas. And just like the last few guys on this list, he was a bench warmer in his rookie season. But now, the Charlotte Hornets kinda blew up their team and nobody knows what they're trying to do or what the fans expect out of them. However, Graham has been a pleasant surprise. As the backup to $58 million man Terry Rozier, Graham has been almost as good as him, despite being on a $1.4 million contract. I don't think that's saying much considering it's Terry Rozier, but I think Graham has a legit chance to win 6th Man of the Year if he keeps up this level of play. He surprisingly became one of the Hornets' main options on offense and is even leading the team in assists off the bench. That's quite impressive. Number 4, Moritz Wagner. Lost in all the hype of Rui Hachimura, Moritz Wagner has quietly become a legit NBA player. Previously, he was, of course, a bench warmer on the Lakers and rarely ever played significant minutes. Now, with the Wizards, Wagner has been a solid addition, shooting very well from the field, from 3, and it looks like he could be a core piece of the Wizards' future. Just like the previous couple of guys on the list, Wagner bounced around from the G League, back to the Lakers, back to the G League. There was no continuity in his rookie season. Additionally, Wagner is from Germany, and he also recently got left off the German national team for the FIBA World Cup. That really upset him, but in response, he tried to look on the bright side. In an article, after failing to make the German national team, Wagner said, "Hey man, sometimes stuff just doesn't work out. So it was a weird feeling at first, but it was a blessing. There was a silver lining in a sense of that I could move to DC earlier and kind of get used to everything, and kind of get a head start on training camp, be fully healthy and just mentally get locked into one thing." So being snubbed from the national team definitely lit a fire within Wagner, and that's partly why he's been playing out of his mind. Number 3. Trae Young. Unfortunately, Trae Young suffered a pretty bad ankle injury in just his 4th game of the season. It's expected he'd come back at full strength, but it was sad to see. He scored 38 points in the season opener and continued his onslaught for the next 2 games as well. In his first 3 games, he literally averaged 34 points a game, along with 9 assists and 52% from 3. But even with the ankle injury, he's come back looking the same as when he started. He's continuing where he left off, and he looked amazing. The ankle injury didn't look like it had any effect at all, even though it was initially speculated he would miss a couple of weeks. Going forward, Trae will be competing for the honor of being the best sophomore of this season as he continues his rampage. Number 2. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Now, let's make this clear, everyone recognized Shai during his rookie season. He stood out as a 6'6" point guard, drawing comparisons to other tall point guards of the previous generations. However, nobody could have expected him to play this well. Now switching to shooting guard, Shai's points per game average has doubled, and his rebounds have tripled, despite only playing about 9 more minutes per game. I think a lot of his improvement has to do with switching positions, because playing alongside a brilliant point guard like Chris Paul has done him wonders. Even though Shai has not been the best sophomore this season, he's been by far the most impressive. I know many fans were very high on his potential, but who thought he'd be playing like this? He was supposed to be the Thunder's point guard of the future, but he's kinda switched positions recently. When asked about this, Coach Billy Donovan said, quote, "I think Shai is more than capable of running the points. I don't think there's any question about that. I think the greatness of him as a player is 1. His humility, and his sacrifice and willing to do and play however he needs to play to help our team. Whatever position he plays in the future, point guard, shooting guard, maybe even small forward, Shai is on his way to becoming an all-star." And finally, number 1, Luka Doncic. The only sophomore on this list who's having an even better season than Trae and Shai. As a rookie, Luka impressed everybody as he had one of the best rookie seasons of all time. But now as a sophomore, he's climbing the ranks, making his way up to the same conversation as the all-time greats. Early in the season, he's been putting up a ridiculous stat line. Over 26 points, around 10 rebounds, around 10 assists, that's freaking insane. He's 20 years old, yet he's basically averaging a triple-double, but also on solid efficiency. I remember when the Mavs traded for Kristaps Porzingis, people were thinking, which one of these two will be the main guy on the team now? Will they both be the primary options? I mean, those thoughts were reasonable. Porzingis was an all-star before Luka even got drafted. But now, I think Luka has squashed those discussions. It's quite clear that he is the best player on the team, and he is the clear-cut first option on a Mavs team that's fighting to get back into the playoffs. The rest of the league, his peers, the fans, everyone has taken notice, as he's gotten so many compliments for his insane season so far. Anyway, that's all folks. Those were 8 NBA sophomores who've been absolutely killing it. I know, there's some other sophomores who are playing very well as well, but they didn't make my list. Let me know in the comments which other sophomores do you think deserves an honorable mention. And did any of these 8 players surprise you guys? Especially the ones who came out of nowhere. Thank you everybody so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, I'll see you next time. Peace.